Just a few episodes back, I was crying like a small little girl because of the bad buying experience correlated with the faulty quality of the Seikos. You know the usual Seiko drill. Bad pip alignment, bad chapter ring alignment, bad date alignment. Which is not happening on $200 or $300 watches, but on the mid-high-end range of Seiko. This is one of the reasons why I moved towards Swiss alternatives. However, despite the initial 62 mass hate, I have to admit this time I'm not disappointed, because finally this model feels to be a refined product according to my modest standards. In fact, it is so good that even the Chinese high horology factory decided to make a $50 mutant based on it. Here's a side by side. You already know what is my positioning in regard to the Chinese mutant watches. However, I was intrigued by a listing on AliExpress. A Seiko 62 mass budget for $40. So I immediately bought it, being curious to see how a $40 Seiko looks like. Also, if this mutant watch has the Seiko logo, because as far as I know, it is totally illegal to replicate watches using the brand logos as well. In fact, this is how Pagani design was born. Anyway, I have to say, I'm never disappointed by the Chinese high horology factory, because they send me a watch but not a functional watch. And we can spot on this AliExpress store page how they advertised actually pictures of the real one, where in reality you receive this piece of shit. I also spotted that they sell a Flightmaster replica as well, so be aware from where you choose to buy the iconic Seiko Flightmaster. Now, as side by side, the watch has nearly the same proportions with the genuine one, but the side angles are slightly different. There's a shiny aluminum bezel insert, but proportion-wise pretty similar, where this SBDC101 has a matted ceramic insert. The fake one has a similar sunburst grey tone, but a noticeable thing that makes it different is the thinness of the hands, because the genuine SBDC101 has thicker hands. On the replica, the lumed indexes have a slight conical shape, where the original one has them almost straight. So keep in mind, if you'll see a dodgy listing that tries to sell this piece of shit at a premium price, please be aware of all these differences. Because if this watch is photographed properly from wider angles, you cannot tell that it is poorly made, especially if you've never seen the original model. Now getting back to my hate-love affair, this is indeed the Seiko that I always seen it as the not sufficient 62 mass. Judging that everyone should afford to own a real 62 mass reissue, because the original one wasn't a luxurious diver watch. Somehow Seiko is keeping their jewels, the correct models, at prohibitive prices. So for that reason, I had an adversity towards the commercial King Turtle, the commercial Willard, or this 62 mass, especially on this 1000 euros area, where there are tons of other options to buy. So why a Seiko? And specifically, I dislike the SBDC101 because it has a chunkier case, thicker hands, a wide ceramic bezel insert, somehow everything made in the spirit of the original 62 mass, but in the same time very far from it. However, in flesh, this SBDC101 changed my mind. It feels that this model has its own identity, because it naturally provides its own personality. Feels like a completely new model that continues still the spirit of Seiko. But not through the bezel design or the case, but through the beautiful grey sunburst dial. Even from the 60s, besides the grammar of design, Seiko has as well a color palette that makes them recognizable. And probably one of the most appealing is this grey sunburst dial, or the anthracite dial. In our context, the dial works very well with the stainless steel case, also with the matted ceramic bezel insert. And as first impressions, the watch feels robust, well made. The sizing is very good and has a great balance from the width, height and weight perspective. Although I considered this watch as being some sort of a vintage reissue, in reality feels more sharper and more modern, and has a watch profile being comparable with the Rolex Submariner, because the wearing experience feels very close. And as specs, the watch measures 40.5mm in diameter with 47.6mm as lug to lug, 13.2mm in height and 20mm between the lugs. The diver has a screw-down crown and 200 meters war resistance. The crystal is a combination between a domed and a boxed sapphire. It has a ceramic bezel insert and 80 hours power reserve. This diver being equipped with the newer 6R35 version with a tolerance between plus 25 seconds and minus 15 seconds per day. So I guess if you want an accurate Seiko, you'll have to pay premium for that. In depth, the dial feels elegant and sporty in the same time. We have the grey sunburst base, with printed elements such as the prospects, the logo or 200 meters for resistance. And as dial symmetry, Seiko made the date window pretty small somehow to match the size of the 9 o'clock loomed marker. And funny, on the macro level we can spot the loomed markers which are embossed looking like menthol chewing gum pillows. The hands are very well finished, we have a faceted dominant hour hand, and in the same style the minute hand matches the thickness of the chewing gum pillows. Now on the loom department, obviously Seiko's Lumi Bright is king, everything being legible and well readable. From the architectural perspective you can clearly spot where's the 12 o'clock marker, the hour hand or the seconds hand. However, I did notice a sloppy thing on this budget 62 mas, which is the ring that is not present on the loom pip. It did not fall, it's just Seiko didn't even consider to put one there. Where the Chinese high horology factory considered to put one there for the sake of normality. Now the case, as I mentioned earlier, feels robust and well refined. We have a beautiful radial brush on top, a linear brush on the sides, both the surfaces being splitted by a highly polished chamfer. It is actually satin brush, not satin. Where in the crown, Seiko still insists not to offer an engraved logo, not even the hated Prospects one. Now this SBDC101 is basically the version with the bracelet, and as usual it is well known that it is better to have the bracelet version, which I think it provides value to this diver. The oyster links are solid, the butterfly clasp received a geometrical update, everything feels modern and better made. But personally I like this 62 mas better on a grey leather strap, because chromatically communicates very well with the dial, it makes the watch lighter and more comfortable. Not to mention the horizontal stitching that works incredibly well with the lines of this 62 mas. In fact, this is my favorite 7 Friends and Watches strap. This grey tone with horizontal stitchings works very well with neutral color watches and darker tones. And I'm wearing this strap on a daily basis because it is thin and extremely comfortable and works with the majority of my watches. Now, this strap was just released on their website, and if you're interested, check it out at 7 Friends and Watches. So overall, I think that this SBDC101, aka the SPB143, is one of Seiko's positive exceptions. In this case, they committed to quality and balance, and it worked. Seiko made a diver watch that is actually loved by the people, and that is everything that matters. Yes, the price is not small, 1000 euros for a Prospects seem a big deal, but from my perspective I think it is worth it. For instance, my friend Miguel from SoulCal Watch Reviews has it for almost 2 years and he still enjoys it like it's the first day when he purchased it. And I'm very interested to know what are your experiences with this budget 62 mas. Maybe I'll buy one for myself at some point. So that's pretty much it. And if you like this video, please subscribe for future episodes. It really matters a lot. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. And until next time, be brave but stay safe.